Howie Roseman is not messing around on day one of NFL free agency. Just minutes after signing Jets edge rusher Bryce Huff to a $17 million per year contract, Philadelphia making a massive splash, signing Saquon Barkley to a 3-year, $37.75 million deal, $26 million of that guaranteed. And now the Whitehall High School product, who grew up in the Lehigh Valley area, went to Penn State, returns to his home state in Pennsylvania, where he is going to make Jalen Hurts' life so much easier. We've been talking about this for days right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, and it comes to fruition. First, this is why you subscribe to the channel. Whenever the Eagles make a move, we break it down. A video is already up on Bryce Huff, full thoughts on that, as well as the Landon Dickerson contract extension, and now we're bringing you the latest on Saquon Barkley. So many thoughts about this, and I thought the wheels were seriously in motion once DeAndre Swift left the Eagles to sign with the Chicago Bears on that 3-year, $24 million contract. And we're live all day on Eagles Now right here on YouTube, and I said, does this signal that the Eagles are going to go hard after Saquon Barkley? There's been so much buzz, so much chatter about the Eagles' interest in him. DeAndre Swift leaves to get $8 million per season, $15 million in guaranteed money. Were the Eagles willing to go a little bit more expensive for the better player in Saquon? That's exactly what Howie Roseman is thinking here. So it's going to be a 3-year, nearly $38 million deal. It could be worth up to $46.75 million. That includes $26 million in guaranteed money. So basically, all you're worried about is the guaranteed cash. Outside of that, it can be categorized as monopoly money. This is pretty much a 2-year, $26 million deal where you're giving Saquon about $13 million average annual value. And if he earns up to the maximum of $46.75 million, that now makes Saquon the second highest paid per year running back of about $15.83 million. Of course, he's going to have to stay healthy, and he's going to have to play out the remainder of that contract. But I love how it's a short-term deal, how you're not giving him crazy amounts of money, and you still get flexibility. So you're bringing in Saquon, who's going to make your offense so much better from a running standpoint, from a pass-catching standpoint. He's also one of the highest graded and has been one of the highest graded pass blockers among all running backs in football. He helps you in a variety of ways. And he celebrates the news by taking to Twitter by first thanking everybody who supported him with the New York Giants, with then tweeting this out. And he said publicly, especially when he was drafted by the Giants out of Penn State, he has so many friends who are Eagles fans, he fittingly tweets out the eagle emojis. Of course, health is a little bit of a concern with Saquon. He had the torn ACL early in his career after a couple of years of just incredible production. But contrary to belief, he's been able to stay somewhat healthy over the last couple of years. He's played in 45 of 52 games over the last 3 years. And why I've continued to be intrigued by this idea, you look at the production. Since being healthy the last two, 1,300 yards in 2022, nearly 1,000 yards in 2023, he was putting up that production behind a catastrophically bad offensive line. We're talking about one of the worst offensive line units in the NFL. And now Barkley is going to run in a backfield with Jalen Hurts, which again makes the life for your franchise quarterback that much easier. And he's going to run behind this offensive line, which just locked up Landon Dickerson, $21 million per year, highest salary in the history of football for a guard. You have Jordan Mailata, who's the third highest paid offensive tackle in football this past year. You have Cam Jurgens, who is the hand-picked replacement for Jason Kelce by Jason Kelce. We'll see what they do at right guard. But then you have Lane Johnson, who's arguably the best right tackle in the game. And I also really, really like the versatility to Saquon's game. We showed you the rushing numbers. We're showing you right now the receiving numbers. He can impact the game in a plethora of ways, and anytime he gets his hands on the football, he is a legitimate home run threat. And now you canvass the offensive side of the football for the Eagles. They have one of the best combinations of running back, wide receiver, tight ends in the entire National Football League. And you have an offensive play caller in Kellen Moore, who I think is going to be drastically better than Brian Johnson, who wasn't cut out for the job. And when I was talking to people in Indianapolis for the NFL Scouting Combine, they just thought he had no feel for play calling and wasn't ready for that moment. But Kellen Moore has had a top 5 offense basically every year that he's been in OC outside of this past year with the Chargers when Brandon Staley got fired, Justin Herbert got injured, and the wide receivers were banged up as well. Your one-word reaction to the Eagles signing Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to say shocked because I've talked about Saquon going to Philadelphia as a realistic possibility, and a lot of you said, clickbait, Chase, it's never going to happen. It happens. More thoughts on this coming up around the corner, but first, today's Eagles Now is sponsored by Prize Picks. Get a $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS. Daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on the projected stats. And this $100 deposit match is incredible. You put in $100, you get $100 back, and then in turn, you can win up to 25 times your money with Prize Picks. Let's go to some college basketball selections here. Ryan Nembhard of Gonzaga, I like more than 13.5 points against San Francisco. Graham Ike, more than 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Should be an easy win for the Zags. And then BJ Freeman of Milwaukee, less than 2.5 3-pointers made. With Prize Picks, you win big money, and you can withdraw your winnings. There's no other DFS app that you should be using. prizepicks.com/CLNS. The offensive line run blocking grade last year, according to Pro Football Focus. For the Eagles, it was 3rd. For the New York Giants, it was 30th. Saquon has to be salivating over the thought of being in this offense, playing for this organization, which is well run, unlike the Giants, and behind this offensive line. And now he has A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts with this offensive line to really help him with the supporting cast. And you become pretty intrigued by the idea of what this offense can become with all of those weapons. And for a player who grew up in the Lehigh Valley, I guess Allentown type of area, him being able to come back to his home state on this offense is obviously something that he's really intrigued by. And according to reports, I'm seeing this from Diana Rossini, it looks as though the Philadelphia Eagles are not done. They're said to be very interested in Xavier McKinney as well. And the average annual value of this deal, I think, is a pretty team-friendly deal for the Eagles. And you just think about the impact that it has on your organization, right? You invested a lot of money in Jalen Hurts. This makes his life a lot easier. For him, he goes from New York to Philadelphia. That's just an upgrade in team circumstance. He caught 91 passes during his rookie year, which is what I'm looking at right now. He can just be a huge part of the passing game, and I didn't think that the Giants used him enough as a pass-catching weapon. And again, he's one of the best pass-blocking running backs in the entire NFL. Finally, Howie Roseman here spends a lot of money, and he spends big at the running back spot for a city that loves running backs. And the Eagles haven't paid big-time dollars to a running back in a long time. DeMarco Murray and LaShawn McCoy being the last 2. So a huge move for Philadelphia here on day 1 of NFL free agency. And this running back market, running backs are getting paid. DeAndre Swift got $15 million in guaranteed money, $8 million per. Tony Pollard is getting $8 million per season. And Josh Jacobs signed with the Packers. And we're not sure exactly how much money that is worth yet. But the running back market is pretty handsome. So to round things out here, Philadelphia Eagles signing Saquon Barkley to a 3-year, $37.75 million deal, $26 million in guaranteed money. As soon as DeAndre Swift left to sign with the Bears, and the Eagles were said to be negotiating with him prior to free agency, he decided to wait it out. He got paid. That's when I thought, okay, if they don't want to pay $8 million for DeAndre Swift, are they willing to go between $10 to $14 million for Saquon? And that's exactly what transpires here. So grade the signing, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know. Allentown area kid goes to Penn State from Pennsylvania, returns to Pennsylvania. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give it a solid B because I never like paying big-time dollars to running backs, but I'm excited about his potential in this Eagles offense.